think that once these leaves come down, I'll have a chance to start working on these bushes and the trees in the back. I'm going to give them a good thinning out. That's a eastern red bush, I think. Has great flowers or in the summer or in the spring. And then this loquat tree, it never loses its leaves. It thins out a little bit in the winter, but it's getting flowers right now. And I think in the fall, for some reason, it gets a lot of flowers, and then in the spring there'll be fruit on it. It's a weird one. So I'm going to also have to thin that out because it's getting just a bit too dense. Otherwise, things like the grass have come in pretty good. It's a bit sparse around the tree here, under the loquat tree because it's not getting enough sun. But otherwise, it's been a pretty successful year for the grass. I think we're going to be well ahead next summer. I've still got some grass seed to put in, so I'll try to fill in some blanks, but pretty uniform looking. But you can see these little random patches of grass that are obviously different. I'm going to just pull those out treat them as the weeds by hand. They're easy to come out in the winter because it's so clear what they look like. You can tell the Bermuda grass is starting to go brown. It's meant to. All that dies off and it goes to basically almost soil in the spring. And it's just the roots that stay alive. So once that all goes brown in probably January or something like that, I'll be able to know which grasses are not Bermuda and which are. I just still find it amazing. It's December and we still have pretty good looking impatiens sitting there. Like it's crazy, isn't it? Oh well. And then what in the world is going on with this rose bush? Look at how many rose buds it's got on it. And it's December, isn't that weird? We're a little bit disappointed in this rose. We're not sure. It's supposed to be like purple flowers on it. Lots of little ones. It's grown really huge. It's probably the tallest rose for one summer. It's done really well. I'm not too sure what to do about it. When it's supposed to flower. If it's the first year it doesn't flower. But we're hoping that next summer it will flower. Otherwise we'll have to think about whether we even got the right plant or if I've trimmed it wrong or something. But I've just kind of let it go. I haven't really done much to it. I've just been tying it up so that it goes up the pole there. But I think it'll be pretty massive once it gets going. This guy's getting more roses. It's like, guys, settle down. It's time for winter. And this Marguerite is probably the happiest it's been all summer. I think it's finally established, so hopefully it'll be really cool next year. Our tomato plants look like they've kind of had the end. But I'm going to try to leave that one guy on there, see if we can get one good tomato out of him. It was huge, but it just didn't do very well. The hedges have done really well this year. I think another year maybe, year and a half, maybe 2 years. And we'll be at the level I want, which is like the ones at the back there. About that level, about 1 meter, I think, about hip height. All even all the way around, which would be kind of cool. Considering how poor they were in the beginning, I thought I'd be buying a bunch of new ones, but these ones have all managed to kind of come back. Little scraggly sticks they were. So there's still some that need a lot of work or a lot of growing, but considering these ones here were the worst we had, it's not so bad. It's amazing. I've been fertilizing these cypress trees. One of them has grown absolutely massive and the other one hasn't. I think this one over here, because of how the boxes over here that were open and there was a big trench beside it and it didn't get watered well, it's just it didn't grow very well the last couple of years. But this summer it's finally taken off. There's no brown on it anymore. It's looking pretty happy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove a bit of this area here on this this bush, and hopefully it'll get a chance to grow up and get some more sunlight on it and be happy. This one has grown probably half a meter, a foot. You can see the thin bit at the top. That's how much it's grown this year. I think next year will be almost at the height of the greenhouse up here, which will be cool. I transplanted this bush. I don't know what it's called. I used to know, can't remember now. It used to be great. It used to have lots of flowers on all summer long. And I planted it in an area that got too much shade. So I'm going to try this spot since it's bare anyways. If it survives, that's good. I cut it back quite a bit. It was really long and searching for light. So hopefully it makes it. This is the area over here where we had that unidentified bush that I moved. I can't remember what it's called. But beside over here in the corner is, I think it's a yellow jasmine, from what I understand. And it's not done well either because there's not a lot of sun here. So what I'm hoping is that by getting rid of the other bush that was here, we're going to get to see that one grow much larger and kind of start climbing up the walls and up the arbor as well. But we've got a little hellebore. That's what that is, a hellebore, and then we have another fuchsia sitting here as well. So hopefully that'll grow pretty big and sort of fill in this whole little area. This here is a kind of a yellowish rose. It's like an early spring rose, I guess you call it a common rose, and it has been cut back so much, but it's done pretty well this year, and I'm hoping that by the end of next year it'll be up and around and over this arbor. Not the best results with the clematises this year. I don't know if it takes a year for them to establish and grow, but a couple of them did okay. This one's the best one. I was expecting them to grow a lot bigger than that. I'm going to try wrapping the burlap. I don't know if they regrow from where they were or what, but I'm used to them kind of being like 6-8 feet tall. I thought they'd at least reach the top of this arbor up here, somewhere around there, but yeah, didn't do that great, so we'll see how they do. If they all die off, we'll figure something else to put in here. Got these Rose of Sharon over here. They're absolutely infested with aphids. You can see all the brown in there. All those bugs, there's just millions of them. I've sprayed them about 3 or 4 times. It seems to be an issue every year. They live in these buds, the flower buds. So they kind of stop the flowers from blooming, and then they kind of hibernate in there. So I'm going to go around this winter and cut them all off and bin them, put them in the recycling, or the recycling at the dump. Yeah, you can't really spray any hardcore stuff here. It's got to be all organic, so it's difficult to control them. It sort of hurts them. They would do a lot better if they weren't being absolutely overrun by these things every year. So you can see they're even trying to hide out in the cracks in where I've cut the branches. Someone's cut branches off in the past, that kind of thing. They're just everywhere. So trying to survive the winter, I guess. I've been amazed at the size of the fuchsias here. Look at the flowers on them. They're about as big as your fist. And yeah, they've done really well here, which is great. We also planted what's called a star jasmine. I think the little pink flowers on it, and it's supposed to grow like, I don't know, 10 meters high and just take over this whole section. So what we're hoping for is that this whole catio area and all up over here is all going to get taken over by this star jasmine. And it also has a really good smell, apparently. So we're looking forward to that next year. And this is just the first year, and it's already grown probably 3-4 inches. So that's pretty good. And we just put it in the fall. But it's looking good. Finally this year it was about 1 foot tall for about the first year and a half. And now this year it's just shot up like crazy, which is great. So I think it's pretty happy now that it's starting to get some sunlight. Well, another thing I'm working on, at least yesterday I started doing it, was Sunday, is trying to cover this fountain. So I've drained all the water out. And basically I've stuck 2 buckets underneath and put this cover on, and I just think it's going to collect water over the winter. So I'm thinking of doing this and maybe, cutting it to length. This is all scrap wood anyways, I wasn't really going to use. And then basically just maybe tying a wire around the center of it. 3 of them, so they're kind of a little bit flexible, and then have it resting on the bucket. Hopefully that's enough slope and it doesn't do this too much so that it builds up too much water, but we'll see. That's my thought. If anyone's got any other ideas, let me know. But yeah, how do we keep the water out of this thing? And cats, random neighbors' cats from climbing all over. I don't know. Anyways, it's more stuff that I'm doing.